Welcome to my final review in this direction. Let's open up the 1988 film Rain Man. We'll open on some very good shots of Lamborghini being unloaded to a cover of Igo Ico and a view of Charlie Babbitt played Tom Cruise. Much like a typical 80s businessman, he knows how to play hardball. As I mentioned before, while Cruise may not be my favorite actor, I understand why he keeps getting work. He's off to go to Palm Springs with a girlfriend, but then he gets a call from his father's lawyer, but his strange father has died. He also mentions his mother is gone as well, meaning he has to screw up Palm Springs for the weekend in favor of going to his father's wake instead. Also, I never noticed when I was younger, but one of the mornings actually found his writer Barry Morrow. His late father's car is a 1949 Buick Roadmaster convertible, one of only 8,000 ever made. That was how I like some of those old cars. Charlie, I think he was reading his father's will. He learns he has a long lost brother. His name is Raymond, played by Dustin Hoffman. It turns out the Rain Man in the title is a story he used to tell himself as a young man. Anyway, it turns out Raymond is a beneficiary of his late father's trust, and this is the film's main arc. On top of coming to terms with his father's death, he has also learned to bond with his brother. The main obstacle to this is that his brother has been in care of a developmental disability. He is a rare savant on the autism spectrum. While this one specific case may not be the most common, can speak from experience that many eccentricities are very real. Case in point, Raven recognized the car instantly, mentioned details, and even the date of their mother's passing. After Charlie is informed of Raven's condition, we see evidence of this as the movie goes on. His place on the high-functioning part of the spectrum, highly intelligent but social norms often elude him. He has obsession often baffle others, least of all Charlie. It's most evident where the airline prefers Qantas does not fly in the US. That only happened in my lifetime. Still, I can relate given recent PR disasters. Touchy-feely TSA officer making sure what I pack won't be made into a bomb somehow. This is an easy example of pre-2001 air travel, though I can understand his concern given the 737 MAX debacle. Of course, the film has plenty of memorable moments, especially like the two big scene in the diner. I do have things I like to count. In my case, it's media lists and box office returns. As an aside, while I may not have a photographic memory, just if I see something once, there's a good chance to recognize if I see it again. Charlie also calls him Ray for short, and Ray fixates on the DJ call sign on the radio. 80s. Alright, folks? There's also a brief scene on the trip where Charlie is playing hardball on a payphone while Ray watches a coin-op TV along the way. Yes, that's what people did before we could do both on our mobiles, folks. Deciding against flying, the two ultimately instead opt to drive back to Los Angeles, which is ideal catalyst for the development. I must say, I like the way this film was shot and edited. Both DP John Seal and editor Stu Linder do a great job showing perspective of the trip from both Ray's first time outside and Charlie's experiences doing business. That kind of presentation is vital when this journey is most of your story. Director Barry Levinson definitely understands how to do this, as opposed to other works that try so hard to do this that they forget to make the characters and story work. I also like the scene where Charlie has to talk Ray down from the freeway, and the stop in Missouri also reveals more of his interest as his architecture drawing and watching game shows. Again, I really like how these two bounce off each other. Charlie is astonished at his brother's eccentricities and Ray is put off by his routine being broken and his brother's cynicism. Among other calls, Charlie discovers that Ray's conservatorship was never fully confirmed, meaning that on top of the cars, Charlie now wants to gain power of attorney over his brother. Elsewhere, Ray is suggesting having fistics while sketching the carpet and watching Jeopardy. What's a great re-establishing tone? I'll take this scene for 200, Alex. Back on the road, the rain is cleared and they're still on their way, conversing about their relationship with their father and the car, among other matters. Close relate to this whole bit of trying to reveal Ray's condition to the doctors. I'll address this more later. A long story short, it doesn't go away any more than I can grow wings and fly south through winter. It doesn't work that way. Though, while Ray can do math in his head like that, his money management isn't as great. The scene in the film was pretty funny. If this was done today, the player I've let on rip on FaceTime instead. I also like this bit where he and Charlie pose as Nielsen ratings posters so Ray can watch his show. Oh, those wacky 1980s pranks. After that, they stop at a hotel in Texas called the Big 8. No wonder why they pee way a large margin around, though. They also reference aliasing in the classic Who's on First routine, and much like there, I definitely like the interplays to have. I always prefer two or more people having a conversation to one liner. We also see himself as the Rain Man from the title, which connects his story to Charlie's. The bathtub scene is in the hotel. It's an ideal way to bridge a gap at a halfway point between the film's tone blending comedy and drama. Hmm. Now we get to the most memorable part of the movie for me and others, the Las Vegas sequence. Yes, folks, much like I was pressing before him, if Ray sees it once, he'll never be the same again. Conversing in another roadside diner, Charlie decides to teach Ray blackjack to help with his money and counting skills, and then it's off the tables. Pawning his watch, they go to his palace. This is a fun sequence, but it's also why I just stuck to the home game. Ray is a wizard at blackjack, but despite his brother's warnings, he does lets up how he won, and subconsciously why mostly stick to video poker, blackjack, and virtual slots. Especially good some of the Avatar and Jurassic World ones. A young lady named Iris tips off the authorities, where they're usually ultimately being told to leave and never return. Upon regrouping with his girlfriend, whose name is Suzanne, the three leave and return for the hearing. At the hearing, Charlie finally realizes the value of his brother's love and accepts the role of not just his benefactor, but his family as well. Close and the two coming to terms with a relationship and their departed parents, vowing to meet again one day. I first saw this movie when I was 13, and the ending stuck with me. My condition may not be a sixth sense, but the five I have are heightened much more than a normal person would be. Everything I see, hear, smell, taste, and feel. Much has changed about the spectrum since 1988, but film is forever. This movie is easily the most successful in 1988, making $172 million domestically and over $350 million worldwide on a $12 million budget. It won Best Picture 1988 Oscars, plus Best Original Screenplay, Best Director, and Hoffman winning Best Actor for his role as Ray. I've been contemplating retiring for at least 2 years. I always knew I wanted to end the current direction on this film. Both on and offline with this decade, I look at how far things have come and how far they can go. I am very glad to have gone this journey with you all. I found ratings 4 out of 4. Thank you for all you've given me over these past 8 years. Bang.